Hi there. After everything that went down in 2022, a lot of international companies decided to pull out of Russia, while others tried to rebrand and keep selling in one of the most sanctioned countries on the planet. And because of all this, some people have started to wonder, do we even have our own brands anymore? Is there anything left for us to consume besides, fairy tales and empty shelves? So the big question is, did Russia really suffer from all these businesses waving goodbye? I'm George, and today let's figure it out together. Before we jump in, just a quick heads up. We'll mostly focus on everyday stuff: clothes, food, electronics, and maybe touch on a few more unusual things here and there. And most importantly, we'll try to answer the question: are there real alternatives for all those products that left? Let's kick things off with the most essential category: food. Probably the most high-profile and disappointing loss for many was McDonald's. On March 8, 2022, the chain announced it was temporarily shutting down its Russian locations, though they did keep paying their employees. Then, on May 27, all the restaurants were sold to a Russian businessman who essentially launched a rebrand. Interestingly, you'll sometimes hear older folks, the ones nostalgic for the USSR, say things like, Russian would sell their country for a Big Mac, but the USSR is long gone and so is the Big Mac. But hey, we've got the big hit now. The new chain is called Вкусно и точка, which roughly translates to tasty and that's it. Kinda feels like they're saying, look, you can't even complain because, well, it's tasty, period. And honestly, the quality is pretty much the same. Maybe once in a while something tastes a tiny bit different, but overall it's still the same old McDuck. That's what we used to call McDonald's. Oh, and here's a funny detail. The logo of Вкусная точка kind of looks like the Marriott Hotel logo crossed with the flag of Bangladesh. As for McDonald's eternal rival in Russia, Burger King, the story is pretty simple. Even though in March 2022, the company claimed it suspended all corporate support, including operations, marketing, investments, and supply chain, the local Russian franchisee kept things running, so nothing really changed. But KFC, Burger King's chicken-focused sibling, had a different fate. It was sold by its parent company, Yum Brands, and had to change its name to Rostix, though the menu and recipes stayed untouched. Interestingly, Rostix actually has a history here. It was originally a Russian chain founded back in 1993, got absorbed by KFC in 2010, and now it's back under its original name. And by the way, a lot of Russian fast food spots had to add drinks like Duchess, Tarragon, and Baikal to their menus. Why? Because of another big loss for consumers there. PepsiCo, the company behind Coca-Cola, Sprite, and Fanta, suspended sales of its sodas in Russia. And yeah, it's kind of a bummer not having the originals around, though sometimes they show up in stores thanks to parallel imports from places like Turkey, the UAE, or Azerbaijan. But you know what we do have? Cool Cola, Classic Cola, Sever Cola, Kalinov Cola, Jumbo Cola, Chernogolovka Cola, and I don't even mention alternatives for Sprite and Fanta, but the most notable one? Добрый Cola. You might say, come on, why is that one special? It's probably just like the rest. But here's the kicker. This particular cola is made by Malton Partners, which is owned by the Dutch Coca-Cola HBC Holdings, and it's produced at the exact same factories that used to make the original Coke. If we briefly touch on something a bit stronger, the kind YouTube doesn't like you mentioning, I'll just say that nearly all foreign alcohol producers left. You can still find some of their products, but prices are often higher than usual. And while we're at it, I should mention that Russia isn't just about vodka. We've got plenty of other locally made drinks, some of which have even won international awards, Barrister Gin for example. Now, shifting from strong spirits to something sweet and chocolatey, there have been some losses here too. I was going to talk about Mars Incorporated, famous for all those chocolate bars, but then I remembered, just yesterday I saw Snickers and Twix at a local shop. Turns out they never really left. even though they said otherwise 4 years ago. But we did lose Nestlé, the folks behind Nesquik and Kit Kat. Honestly, I barely noticed because there are plenty of local brands making instant cocoa. But my condolences go out to all the Kit Kat fans now stuck with Good Mix instead. It just doesn't hit the same, at least to me. Maybe you'd think differently. Oh, and interestingly, Nestlé's old factories are now used by a brand called Hrutka, which makes pretty decent alternatives to Cosmostars, Nesquik cereal, and other similar treats. Alright, let's switch gears to something you can cover yourself with. I mean, sure, you could pour milk on your head or cover yourself in chocolate, but why bother when clothes exist, right? One thing that became obvious during the mass exodus is that often it's not just one brand leading, but a whole portfolio. The most striking example is the Spanish giant Inditex, which owns Zara, Bershka, Pull&Bear, Osho, Stradivarius, and Massimo Dutti. Then there's Net-a-Porter, which represents ASOS, Burberry, Farfetch, all gone too. But the biggest blow was definitely losing the titans of casual wear. Nike, we usually pronounce it like Nike here, Adidas, in Russia Adidas, Puma, Vans, and others. There is always a but. You can still find stores in shopping malls selling branded sneakers and clothes. On top of that, shopping tourism has actually become a thing. People fly to Kazakhstan, China, or the UAE to buy authentic items, since prices in local shops can be higher. And yeah, there's also this app called Poison, with a Z, not S. It's super popular among fashion lovers who buy branded stuff that's shipped from China. A lot of folks say that the products there are legit, but I'm more into simple clothes, so I can't really vouch for that. Funny enough, some companies decided to be a TF2 spy cosplayers and just changed their names. Crop came back as CR, House became XC, Mojito turned into M, Reserved is now Re, and Sensei shortened to Sin. Levi's also quietly returned. Now their stuff is sold in JNS stores. Mothercare temporarily shut down 120 locations. But by March 2023, they were back as Mother Bear. Puma closed over 100 stores but resumed operations in July 2023 under the new name Amazing Red, with original products just 20-30% pricier. Crocs took a break too, then started selling again under the new Sabu brand. As for actual alternatives to Nike or Adidas, I tried looking and found brands like Sigma, Trafa, Strops, Two Balls. In Russian it's Dva Mecha, not the balls you're thinking of. Some shoe models look pretty similar, but honestly it's hard to judge quality just from photos. So I'll leave that up to you. One personal note. I am an H&M fan. When they stopped operations here, I found a Russian brand called Tvoyo, like yours in English, and genuinely liked their stuff. It feels fresh and modern, not outdated or, boomerish. And of course, there are huge markets like Sadovod or Dubrovka selling counterfeit branded clothes. I know people who buy there and resell items online as legit, real money-making hustle. Let me quickly run through some retail changes. Leroy Merlin became Limana Pro, but kept all the products. Obi kept its name, but changed owners and tweaked the logo. And then there's the big one. Nej, jag kommer inte att kunna köpa råttor, gestalter och min älskade blåa längre. Just kidding. Sadly, IKEA left completely, but you can still find similar furniture or on marketplaces or in specialized stores. Now, cars. In the US, cars are practically part of the culture, and the level of automobilization is one of the highest in the world. In Russia, though, things have been getting tougher every year for car lovers. Some brands just stopped deliveries. Others, like Volkswagen with VW and Skoda, Volvo, Peugeot, Opel, Citroën, and BMW, halted production at their local factories. Some companies cut ties with Russian partners, like Daimler Truck with Kamaz. Rolls-Royce stopped supplying engines and spare parts for Aeroflot's planes, and Boeing full technical support. Plus, starting January 1, 2026, a new recycling tax applies to all cars, and it'll keep increasing annually until 2030. How does this tax work? From what I understand, if you buy a 2.5-liter car from a local dealership, you just pay the car's price and registration fees. But if you import a new 2.5-liter car, say a Hyundai Tucson, it might cost you around 1.5 million rubles, plus an extra 300,000 as a recycling tax. The government says this is meant to support the domestic auto industry. The frustrating part? Many drivers complain about poor quality in locally made cars, brake failures, rust in brand new vehicles, you name it. Even top managers at АвтоВАЗ have been caught in awkward discussions about it, like this.
Балансировано. Нельзя так просто ставить большие моторы на какую-то вот тележку. Это вот гараж-гараж.
Хорошо, бог с ним, с Поршем. Пятерку BMW аналог можно сделать?
Можно. А зачем?
You can draw your own conclusions. So yeah, importing a car comes with extra fees, but what about ordering other stuff from abroad? Well, here's the thing. Most global companies that ship worldwide just don't ship to Russia anymore. It's kinda wild. You can send a package to Fiji, but not to Russia. A bunch of major carriers, FedEx, UPS, DHL Express, stopped accepting and delivering orders for Russian customers. So now there are two problems. You can't order, and even if you could, you can't pay. Visa and MasterCard banned Russian banks from issuing cards with their systems. Though, funny enough, my MasterCard works just fine. Also, Russian kids can no longer buy the tralalelo tralala nonsense, since all the pays, Google Pay, Apple Pay, Samsung Pay, stopped working here. But the real pain point for gamers is the inability to buy certain games or top up accounts. Steam and Origin still work, but you can't buy games from certain studios like Ubisoft or EA anymore, unless you get creative. There are services that let you, say, borrow a Kazakh bank card or change your account region. Lots of my friends now have Kazakh Steam accounts and have gotten used to calculating prices in tenge. There is also a Russian platform called VK Play, born from the Mail.ru group, but man, the games are rough. Like, look at this one. Guess how much it costs to make? Over $5 million, funded by state-sponsored grants. And some Russian devs release games on VK Play first, then quickly move them to Steam because nobody buys them locally. It is what it is. Speaking of digital services, imagine this. You're chilling at home, ready to binge a new Netflix series, and bam, Netflix is gone in your country. You open TikTok and bam, only old 2022 trends because new content doesn't load. You feel like listening to music, but bam, Spotify and SoundCloud are gone too. Alternatives? Sure, there is VK Clips, hi again Mail.ru, where you can watch stuff you probably didn't want to see. For series, plenty of platforms exist, but foreign shows are mostly off the table. Get ready for Russian productions. Music, VK Boom is waiting. Oh, and don't forget, Russia is a land of pirates, so you can usually find whatever you want for free. I won't even get into all the websites blocked or made unavailable for Russian users. And yeah, we can't monetize content on YouTube, TikTok or Patreon anymore. They turned that off. But if you still want to support creators, there's Boosty. So, what's the takeaway? After everything shifted in 2022, life in Russia changed. At first, it felt strange and uncomfortable, but over these years, some companies came back, others took on new names. Russian entrepreneurs are doing their best to fill the gaps, sometimes successfully, sometimes not so much. Honestly, I don't feel like we've lost a ton, but yeah, sometimes it's annoying using unfamiliar services or not being able to order something from abroad or having some sources blocked by the government, but that'll be in another video. Still, if you're determined, you'll find a way. And yeah, there are plenty of sites, apps, organizations, companies I didn't mention that left us or were blocked or just unavailable and etc. If you want to support my content, my Boosty is in the comments. But you know, days differ, stuff same, but we make them better. See you later.